Meanwhile, Reeva Steenkamp's mother, June, says families of gender-based violence and femicide victims are the ones left to serve a life sentence. Reeva was shot dead on Valentine's Day in 2013 in Pretoria by her boyfriend, Oscar Pistorius, who was released on parole today after 8 years behind bars. The former Paralympian has been released in the care of his uncle, Arnold, in Waterkloof, Pretoria, for the duration of his parole. Newzroom Afrika Siphosethu Booi has the story.
Parole Beach in GBV is where Reeva Steenkamp's ashes were scattered by her family. As well, some people believe her killer and boyfriend Oscar Pistorius deserves a second chance. The former Paralympian was released on Friday in the care of his uncle Arnold Pistorius in Waterkloof, Pretoria, for the duration of his parole.
My reaction to it is like, we all know that Oscar is guilty he's guilty of everything, but at the end he's done it, and I know it's hard for his the girl's parents. It's really hard, but at the end of the day we all have to forgive.
To be honest, I think that Oscar has served his time because of the number of years he's been in prison for. I think that he doesn't have the same mindset as he had. That could be wrong. It could be the fact of he's just putting on a facade for everybody. But if there hasn't been a case of gender-based violence, because I'm not sure if there has, but before the shooting, if there hasn't been a case of gender-based violence, and I think that he has served this. It's been 13 years, so I think he has served this time. If he's on parole, I think that's the correct decision. But just my opinion, I could be wrong, I could be right, but I don't think he has the same mindset as he had.
You know, Oscar's release is a serious indictment on the scourge that we are facing as a country at gender-based violence. But everyone deserves a second chance, and our communities, we come from a very painful past of apartheid, and we ought to give second chances to people. Oscar is out on bail, but to the parents of Reeva, I think they can be forgiving. Babone a way forward with Oscar Pistorius as a human being.
Some residents believe that Pistorius didn't serve his full sentence and allege that he denied the Steenkamp family answers on what happened between him and their daughter.
As a gender-based violence and femicide activist, and as someone who really looked up to Reeva Steenkamp, it made me ask myself the question, is this the way that justice is being served? But situations are always different from when you look at them from the outside than when you're actually inside experiencing it. But nonetheless, I would like to send a message of support to the Steenkamp family, the Reeva Steenkamp Foundation. They are not alone, definitely not alone. We are with them every step of the way.
Look, during the case, everything looked pretty clear-cut. I think everyone saw his character and everything. And change of character is one thing, but for a certain measurement of violent crime, I think it's a bit weird, and it should be taken more into consideration. It's been a very short time that he's been in.
I feel for the family, for their justice, for their say on this whole issue of men or just people being released, and there's no say, there's no actual action in what their part of the story. He's just being let go freely, and they still have to deal with the hurt and the pain of loss.
I feel very sorry to the family, Reeva's family, obviously. I mean, it is kind of disappointing to our justice system.
An award-winning gender-based violence activist says the South African judiciary keeps failing gender-based violence and femicide victims and their families.
What is 13 years? This thing happened. 11 years later, and now, after 11 years, he only served 8 years. We feel like the justice system in our country is not doing it enough.
In a statement, Reeva Steenkamp's mother, June, said her only desire is to be allowed to live her last years in peace, with her focus on the Reeva Rebecca Steenkamp Foundation and her daughter's legacy. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Siphosethu Booi, GBV.